So we are going to the Andrew King show today, and I'm super excited to see his show. It is a barn show. We actually have one of his paintings already, and it was from his camping and tent and trailer show. So all of his paintings were different but had some sort of RV tent. And we got this one because actually at the time Fraser was living on his parents' property in an RV, and I would stay there, be in the RV. So we got this one because it had a little caption that went with it, talking about camping outside and hearing all of the creepy sounds when you're camping and thinking that, like, obviously it's a monster. So it fit perfectly into my experience with monsters and camping, because that's just where my head goes. So we're about to have breakfast, and then we're headed off to see his show about the barns, people's barns, which is pretty awesome. So I can't wait to see that.
Who's your friend?
Oh, this is Abby.
Abby.
Abby. Abby.
She's the guard dog for all the paintings.
Summer cottage on the dunes is the perfect place to air out your clothes and your mind. Dune delight. Sunset cruise. As the sun sets below the horizon, the last loyalist makes his way across the county to relocate his home. November barnscape. The wind of winter slowly seeps onto the landscape as the grass turns brown and the leaves on trees disappear. Field of Dreams. With no neighbors in a 5-kilometer radius around his house, Norman looks forward to the peace and quiet so he can finally finish writing his book about inner city living. Converting an old barn into a bed and breakfast was no easy task, as the smell of manure and hay is only appealing to at least a few guests.
Solitude in the sand. Mike's freshly polished camper glistens on the beach with views across Lake Ontario. Twilight Farm. Gary sets up camp outside the old barn before hiking to the dunes next morning. Bail out package. Like that he's lifting the bale. Marcy carries out a bale of hay from his barn to give an anniversary gift to his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend. Carried away in concession. Churchgoers in concession face the consequences of a cold, strong February wind. Bye-bye bake sale. The bake sale at Cherry Valley Church was a huge success until the very end, when Alice was taken away from the wind and never heard from again.
Dark.
Harvest Hill. Farmer Fred grabs his pitchfork and prepares to harvest his crop before the tourists arrive to take Instagram selfies in his field. Does that relate to us?
Maybe.
Barnscape. Herbert's newly painted bright yellow barn on the hill creates a buzz among the village folks, who have only ever painted their barns red.
Rebel.
Out of reach, the last apple on the tree is just a bit too far out of reach for Wilbur to pick on a chilly October day.
Wilbur.
Barn dancers. Nestled within the barn with only the dim glow of a lantern, Peter and Laura slow dance to music of their gramophone.
Gramophone.
So, these paintings, from what I've been told, were on the front of the barn, but to get them out of direct sunlight and depending on the wind, they're brought in the garage to protect them. So, Hallowell hijinks. Outside of Picton, the church bake sale is host to some unusual activities after Gertrude inevitably added a certain ingredient to her popular brownies. Chardonnay Way. The Purple Barn of Clawson Chase Vineyard is the backdrop for the Chardonnay tasting party that sees one of its attendees go missing.
That's funny.
Mellow Yellow Meadow. Say that 10 times fast. Halfway between Bloomfield and Wellington, a striking yellow barn resides on a grassy hill, a landmark for those traveling along Loyalist Parkway between the two towns. And you like this one.
Yeah.
Midnight Mind. Harold awakes in the middle of the night to investigate a particularly unusual sound that he heard coming from inside the barn. Blaming it on his overactive imagination, Harold suddenly remembers the legend of Gilead Road.
Dum, dum, dum.
Close to Clawson. So this is actually the church across from Clawson Chase. Across from the intersection of Clawson Chase roads, the abandoned church provides a place of serenity for those who walk by it. In contrast to the typical red barns seen throughout Prince Edward County, once in a while a gleaming white barn can sometimes be spotted standing amidst golden wheat fields.
I like how all of his paintings have like a little story to go with them.
Daydream Harvest. Theodore decides to take a break from his farm chores and just daydream about swimming at the beach this weekend. Roses of Ridge Road. After countless beams of hot summer sun, the faded red point on the barns along Ridge Road resembles more of a rose color now. Penny the parishioner decides it is time to say goodbye to the congregation in Cherry Valley and explore new church options on the other side of the county. Barnstormer. Built in 1887 by John Kleinstuber on his farm near Westlake, a particularly strong wind coming off the lake takes his balsa wood barn to the neighboring township.
Your dad liked this one too.
Barns, bales, and blue. A clear blue sky is the backdrop for a scene of bales of hay that dot the fields near Red Barn off County Road 10. Barn breeze. Deciding it was the best to raise in a barn, Elizabeth takes to the sky to find a new place to live in the county. Last but not least, winter harvest. On a cold March day off the County Road 10, Lloyd wanders over to check on his barn containing barrels of ice wine, a different crop than his usual harvest of corn and barley. So, all the red dots represent they're sold. So every single one that we've seen today has a red dot.
So this show, Andrew King had a show on Saturday to display all of his artwork. That's when it started. And when does the show end?
August 9th.
August 9th. But they've already all sold.
Which is great for Andrew King and great for Mad Dog Gallery. So amazing work. We're lucky enough to have two Andrew Kings. We have one above our bed, which we bought together.
A sudden and alarming sound is heard by the tent camper, with possible sources of either being a monster or perhaps a ghost demon.
Yeah, so we have another one above our desk by Andrew, and it's of his series of 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So he did a series on that, which was pretty amazing. So
Yeah, and it's like
it's a caricature.
yeah,
So
I
it's a
really like
sketch.
that one.
Yeah, it's a sketch. And it's basically of the submarine, which I can't remember the name of it right now, basically just diving. So.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's really simple, black and white.
I believe there's a couple more inside, but they decided they wanted to show all of the artwork outside because what better way to show the barn show but on a barn?
But on a barn.
What do you think, Maggie? What do you think? You coming? Point of reflection. Salmon Point can be lonely and foreboding place, especially for the lone lighthouse keeper who is currently reflecting on his choice of career.
Yeah, Andrew is a painter who he likes to add a bit of historical detail into his paintings. His current show, the barn show, he did a lot of research of local barns and has 50% of the show is local barns based in Prince Edward County.